Morning, morning, third grade. It is the last day of our third week of online instruction. How are we feeling with it? You like reading these stories? Let me know what you think about the informational text that I'm finding, and if there's anything that you want to read about that I can look up for us, let me know by commenting below. Any 4 sections. You know I love your input. Did you figure out what happens after unfolding the first triangle fold? Did you know what the next step was when you read it yesterday? Shout out to Ed Cox for sending me one of his snowflakes that he created after reading our story. Today, we're going to read the story again, but not focusing on the recounting this time, but more focusing on our favorite standard, cause and effect. Think all the way back to around the middle of February, end of February, when we really hit the ground hard with this. We talked about cause and effect. The first thing to find in cause and effect is the effect. What happens? Because then when I find what happened, I can answer the question, how or why did that happen, to figure out my cause and effect. I even know by the time I'm writing this out, you're already making a note on your paper that shows our 2 boxes and the arrows connecting our boxes. It should look like this. Cause on the left side, effect on the right side. Cause is how or why did something happen, and the effect is the result of what happened. Remember, when we find our effect first, we can defend it by showing us because and giving us the reason why it happened. Ready to repeat after me? I can overcome. Describing the relationship between technical text and ideas and concepts using cause and effect. So, same story, similar standard, but remember, it's a more procedural text, so hopefully it'll be a little easier to find some causes and effects. Make sure on your notebook paper, before we answer our questions, you create your box so you can submit it online. I've seen a lot of people use these graphic organizers, and I'm telling you, it's going to help when you're reading it independently. You might have to create multiple boxes to make sure that you'll have enough for the entire story. Now, let's get ready for your questions. Thursday's questions are... Sorry, technology sometimes doesn't want to work. First question is finishing this sentence. So whenever you see ... I want you to finish that sentence. It says, making the center of the paper will also mark the center of what? So I'm looking for a result. Number 2, if you cut a rectangle into the side of a snowflake, what is the result? Include text evidence. 3, also finish this sentence. Defining the word arc. Think about that word. Think about where you've heard arc before and what kind of words you've heard that. An arc is what? Use the sentences and the words around it to help you figure out the definition of that word. 4, the final step in a snowflake's creation is ... Finish that sentence. And your last question is figuring out my cause. Why is it important to leave some of the paper connected? Include text evidence. For today's reading, I'm going to go back to the first page to help us look at the introduction, and I'm going to walk you through what it's going to look like to use my graphic organizer like the boxes while I'm reading. So make sure you turn to page 4 where it says introduction. I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs aloud. I'm going to give you time after them to see if we can figure out a cause and effect relationship. Have you ever looked closely at a real snowflake? Their intricate designs look similar to lace or delicate crochet patterns. Did you figure out what that word intricate meant yesterday? Intricate means really neat or cool or special, because my fact earlier talked about how all snowflakes look different. So even though Ed sent me his, I know someone from Maryland, like Brooke, might send me a snowflake that looks totally different. You can make your own snowflake patterns by folding and cutting paper in certain ways. This book will show you how to make 3 shapes of paper snowflakes. You will also see how adding extra cuts can make each of your snowflakes look different, which also defends my word, intricate, as I go back. Let's get started. I'm going to pause. Did you find anything that we can record in our cause and effect chart? Think back. When I'm looking for a cause and effect relationship, which one does Miss Love tell me to find first? What is going to be the easiest thing for me to find? I heard effect. It's easiest to find the result of what happened. So looking in that first paragraph, is there something that happened? I found this sentence saying you can make your own snowflake patterns. So that's what happens because I can make my own snowflakes, which means on my effect charts, I'm going to write in that same line. Do it with me. So you can make your own snowflake patterns. So now that we figured out my effect, our we do part for today is you need to find me my cause. How do we make our own snowflake patterns? I'm going to give you time. Make sure you pause the video to record your answer on your cause box. Get started. Make sure you're going back in the text to look for some key words. See if there's any linking words. Might be a little different. Ask yourself that question, how do I make those patterns? Get ready to show me in 3. Get ready to show me in 2. Get ready to show me in 1. If our effect was to make your own snowflake patterns, I want to ask myself that question, how do I make my own snowflake patterns? Go back into the text. If you found that you can make your own snowflake patterns, by is my linking word. By is my linking word. How do you make them? You make them by folding and cutting paper in certain ways for my cause and effect. So my linking word was not because it wasn't why does this happen, but instead it was how did it happen, because this is a technical and it's a procedural text, so it might look a little different than what we normally do. So keep looking for those signal words like by. In fact, if you have it, I don't know if you're printing these stories out, but if you're able to, make sure you circle by in order for you to add it to your notes. You have the rest of the questions to finish on your own. Good luck. I'm here till 3 if you need me. Make sure you turn them in on your portfolios along with your charts. Bye, y'all.